Star of the moment, BD-1. As you can see, I put some wires on his legs. He's got light in his eyes. Got lights coming out of the back panel of his head there. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to explain how I did all these things. So I stashed BD-1's speaker in his chest cavity. There's the sound. There's the power soundboard. This is the charging port. This is the Bluetooth. And if you can see back here, I've got foam packed in. All that foam packed in there is to stop the chest from kind of vibrating and giving BD-1 an off sound. So I stuffed it full of this sound dampening foam, which actually kind of makes it a little bit better when you're listening to it. And I can connect with this through my phone. And KYBER Phonic was super awesome. I reached out to them to see if they had like a sound font for BD-1. If you don't know, KYBER Phonic does sound fonts for lightsabers. And they have really awesome products, so I recommend that you go check them out. This is not a sponsored video again. But if you look in there, I took an old Sylvania speaker, Bluetooth speaker that I wasn't using anymore, and I basically tore its guts out. Now, I don't like to solder, so I tried to keep all the wires as connected as possible, although I did have a little bit of an incident with the speaker where I had to solder the power lines back onto it. Fortunately, it's a big enough target that even me with my shaky hands was able to do it fairly easily. It was my first soldering job ever. Whew, don't ask me to do one on a lightsaber soundboard. I'm nowhere close to that yet. But by keeping all the wires hooked up to it, it was a pretty simple job to pull the speaker out of the shell, place it inside the chest cavity. Then I hot glued the charging port and the board into the chest cavity so they would not fall out. And this is how I get BD-1 to speak, which I think is a pretty cool feature. Alright, so let's see if we can get BD-1 to say hi to us. Say hi, BD-1. As you can tell there, the sound is a little bit tinny without the chest piece on, so we'll just pop that back into place here. Not going to close it all the way, so we have to shut that down, but here we go, let's try that again. Say hi, BD-1. Well, it makes it a little bit less tinny, in my opinion, and I prefer that. So the next thing let's look at is BD-1's head and the electronics that are inside his head. So we're going to pop BD's face off here real quick, and there you go. So on the inside here, I've got two green bulbs that look like this on the inside. This one I put some paper around it so that it did not make the whole white front light up green. And then this one on the outside is painted black, pretty good, so you won't see the green on it, but I didn't want that white section to show green on BD-1 there. On the inside, we've got the battery packs. Now, I got these from Amazon, and both of them run on battery, so it's not like I can charge them. But this is the switch box for the eyes, and then this is the light box for the back. And the backlight has a couple of different modes. So for the backlights there, as you can see, this is just a temporary cover that I put on them. I want to get something 3D printed that I can put over the top of this green light. The green light is actually pretty cool. It's referred to as cuttable LED paper. So as you can see there, it's just a piece of black poster board that I cut out in roughly the shape of his back panel. As you can see, didn't quite get it right. but for the purposes of this video, it shows off what I'm wanting to show off. And then I took a screwdriver and poked holes through it to get this panel look. Like I like to say for a lot of things, it looks good from afar, but it is far from good. Which means when you look at it from a distance, it doesn't look terrible. But when you get real up close, you can start to see the defects. And then there are 3 modes that the lights go through. So we've got steady, rapid blink, and slow pulse. And off. Now I prefer the steady on because I think that just looks right. In order to do this, without the wires showing, I had to, I'll take off the back panel here. There we go. In order to do this without the wires showing, I took a drill. I drilled a nice hole into his head so I could fit this wire in here. That wire right there. So I could fit the wire through there for the battery pack. And keep everything located in his head so he still has that nice clean look about him. I will say this, that by putting the speaker and the lights into the smuggling compartments that BD-1 came with, has definitely shifted his center of balance. So I had to change his stance from being a closer together stance to a broader, wider stance to make sure, and I got some wires there, kind of finishing details, to make sure that he didn't tip over. So for BD-1 here, as you can see, I drilled a couple holes in for his eyes through the plastic so that the light would be able to shine through. I'm a little bit bummed that I wasn't able to get blue lights. They didn't have those because BD's eyes are blue, but I tend to think of it that Marin's had an influence on him, and now he's projecting green light through his eyes. So, as you can tell, this is pretty simple, straightforward modifications that I made to this very nice model. I'm not a handyman in any way, shape, or form, but this was pretty easy for me to take care of with very little hassle, and I think I came out the other side with a pretty cool collector's piece that I can show off. I was going to try to get some magnets to put on his feet so I could add him to a cosplay. And there's actually a spot in here where you could put a magnet. And I got neodymium, I think that's how you say it, magnets to put on him. But when I went to put it on to my back, we had a big issue with stability. He just is not meant for holding that position. What needs to happen is that these shoulder joints here need to almost function like a ball socket so that you can adjust the angle of the legs to allow him to have a broader stance going widthwise and allow him to lock on securely to your back. But overall, I'm very proud of what I've accomplished here. Pretty simple stuff. All the links for all the materials are in the description. Please let me know if you have any ideas on how to help me get his eye color to the green, or from the green to the blue that I'm really looking for. I'm going to try to keep doing these little types of projects that even a simpleton like myself can accomplish. And I look forward to hearing from you in the comments below what you think about this model. Tell me if you've got any projects that you've done in the past, or if you are interested in doing a project similar to this in your future. Remember, like and subscribe, and have a great day.